In 2011, the Ecuadorian Supreme Court found that the Chevron Oil Corporation had intentionally poisoned indigenous communities in the Amazon rainforest through their proprietary system of polluted oil waste disposal. In retaliation, Chevron refused to pay the historic $9.5 billion judgment, liquidated all their assets in Ecuador, and then countersued one of the international team's visionary lawyers, Steven Donziger, alone in the U.S. federal court system, relying solely on an arcane legal technicality to install their own private law firms in place of the U.S. government's Attorney General's office. Donziger's near 1,000-day home imprisonment as a result of this corporate trial without a jury has provoked the condemnation of 29 Nobel laureates, 34 congressional leaders, the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, Amnesty International, and the European Parliament. On the eve of the second Trump presidency, we visited Steven inside his New York City apartment to speak about the law, unchecked corporate power, the environmental movement, and his personal life.
In Ecuador, Chevron paid specific individuals to create front laboratories and get favorable soil and water toxicological test results to weaken your case. Chevron's key witness in the case now lives in the U.S., in a house paid for by Chevron, and drives a car paid for by Chevron, and may even receive a monthly stipend from the company. Yet Judge Kaplan has ruled that your victory in Ecuador was obtained fraudulently and that the $9.5 billion judgment is not enforceable. Can you speak on this? How is it that these things can be fact and there can be proof of them, and yet the legal system has allowed this?
So, Chevron, in my experience, litigating against the company as a lawyer for 30 years, they have no respect for the law. They actually see the court system as a weapon to be utilized to harass those who challenge them. They don't see the court system and the law as a arena to actually resolve legal disputes. They just try to use it as a kind of a way to exercise their superior economic power against those who take them on, which is what they did in this case. Now, the case in Ecuador is over. The communities won the case. It's been affirmed on appeal by Ecuador's Supreme Court, by Ecuador's Constitutional Court. And I want to emphasize the reason Ecuador's courts affirmed the judgment is because Chevron was the party that insisted the case be heard in Ecuador. Chevron accepted jurisdiction in Ecuador's courts. Chevron promised as a condition of moving the case out of U.S. courts way back in the 1990s that it would pay any adverse judgment if it lost the case. Chevron went back on every one of those promises. Once evidence started to mount against the company through the courts in Ecuador, they started to try to undermine the trial that they had sought. They tried to sabotage the trial so it would never end. They tried to delay the trial, every step of the way. So it's really important to people to understand that this is not a company that operates in good faith.
You have said that Chevron's business model is predicated on privatizing profits and socializing costs for the most vulnerable people on the planet. And you said that the reason Chevron is willing to pay its hundreds of lawyers to fight this case to the tune of over $20 billion is because if Lago Agrio Ecuadorians realize the payout, the floodgates will open. Chevron might have to pay up in dozens of other communities. And so your case is about the very business model of oil and gas, of that industry. Could you expand on that?
So, the landmark pollution case that the communities of Ecuador won against Chevron is really poses a major threat in a good way to the oil and gas industry. They don't like the model of this case. They do not like it when indigenous peoples create a relationship with lawyers from around the world to fight them. They assume that because these communities have no money as we know it, they'll never be able to litigate against them and never be able to hold the company accountable. And we have proven that that's not true. We have really demonstrated by winning this case that there is a model out there, an economic model, and a political model, and a litigation model to actually leverage power of these communities against the oil and gas industry in a way that can lead to massive shifts in wealth going from north to south, going from the oil and gas companies to the indigenous communities who really have had their land and their resources stolen. We're not litigating over an oil spill. We're not litigating over an industrial accident like, say, Bhopal in India. We're litigating over a deliberate engineering design invented by Texaco, now Chevron, to discharge literally billions of gallons of cancer-causing oil waste into the Amazon, into the waterways and streams that indigenous peoples and farmer communities were relying on for years and years and years for their drinking water, for their bathing, and for their fishing. So, we're talking about a pristine ecosystem that in a few short years, because of this deliberate engineering design to pollute by Chevron, we're talking about the poisoning, the mass industrial poisoning of an entire area of rainforest.
In New York v. Chevron 2021, New York City tried to sue the big five oil companies in a class action and then use the money to shield the city from climate change. The U.S. Court of Appeals Second Circuit shot it down, ruling that it cannot use state tort law to decide a case involving federal law in international treaties. Yet, the Climate Change Superfund Act was signed by Kathy Hochul in December of 2024 and found oil companies responsible for about $75 billion over the course of 25 years. And that was a big victory for climate activists. New York plans to use that money for infrastructure upgrades and other climate protections. Can you explain why the first of those cases failed and the other succeeded? What is the significance of each ruling? And how might oil companies use legal tactics to avoid paying up?
Well, I think the issue you raise is an important one. It really is, to what extent can the climate movement use the law, use our court system to address the impacts of climate change? And I want to say, as someone who's been, as a lawyer, been working in this area for decades, the law has a tremendous amount of promise in this area that people need to look at. It also has a lot of limitations. So my advice to people is look for the spaces in our society and our legal system where you can really go after the oil companies through the law. One way is to sue them for the impacts of climate change, make them pay for the cost of cleaning up the damage caused by, hurricanes that are so intense we've never seen them at this level of intensity before. And this is a new science called attribution. Like, scientists can attribute damages directly to fossil fuel emissions by the big oil companies, and they should pay for those. And we're seeing more and more of these lawsuits, but they're proceeding very slowly. Industry is fighting them every step of the way. They're trying to tie these lawsuits up in court. They're hoping the U.S. Supreme Court ultimately dismisses these lawsuits on various, to me, kind of weak legal theories. But, there's a lot of battles about climate justice now playing out through the courts. And the movement is winning some, losing others. But I would say the long-term trend right now is positive. Like, there's a lot of cases that are getting going. They're in the discovery phase. Information is coming out. And as we see the impacts of climate change more and more in our society, and, everyone sees them, no matter you have a lot of money, a little money, whether you're a judge, whether you're a civilian, no matter what you do, people are seeing smoke in the air. They're seeing the effects of wildfires, heat, people dying from floods. Okay, people are experiencing that. And I think we're going to see courts more and more allow these cases to proceed and really use these cases as a vehicle to hold the industry accountable, to make the industry pay for the damage it is causing. Right now, we are subsidizing the oil and gas industry. These terrible storms cost taxpayers money. Well, they run away with the profits, and that's just fundamentally unfair. You cause damage, you pay for that damage. That's a fundamental principle of justice in every society.
Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure Rule 42 allows federal judges to appoint private attorneys to serve as special prosecutors in cases of criminal contempt. In your case, Judge Lewis Kaplan appointed Special Prosecutor Rita Glavin of Seward and Kessel Law Firm. Can you explain why the special prosecution was such an egregious instance of conflict of interest? And what do you think will happen with Rule 42 under Trump? Will it be used more often?
We have an oil company that succeeded in getting control of a piece of our federal judiciary, a piece of the prosecutorial machinery of this country, so they could jail a critic. I got locked up by an oil company in the United States of America. An oil company, not by the government, by Chevron. It is, it's just an utter outrage. It's shameful. It's obviously a violation of the rule of law. 5 federal judges have determined it is a violation of the rule of law, a violation of our Constitution. And several international jurists have concluded the same thing looking at it. It's an embarrassment to our country, but it's also a threat by the industry to the climate movement that they will go after you if you are a little too successful in holding them accountable. And I'm good. I want to be clear. We won the case, they lost. They sued me in an illegitimate case. It led to my detention. Sorry, but you know what they did? There's such a backlash to their strategy that we, meaning those of us who work on the case, actually now have more support than we've ever had. We have more leverage than we've ever had. We have more people wanting to help than we've ever had. We have more people wanting to donate money to do the litigation than ever. It backfired. Okay, their strategy to shut me up, to destroy the case, has failed. I'm talking. Okay, I'm talking to you right now. The communities in Ecuador are working with their legal team to file another lawsuit to force Chevron to pay the judgment. So it failed.
Are you still on the hook legally for approximately $800,000? And how could that be if the judgment was never levied?
So when Chevron lost the case in Ecuador, they sued me here in the United States and they went after me. And ultimately that didn't work. We kept litigating in other countries and they tried to they came up with a plan to have me locked up at home or in prison, which happened for almost 3 years. And this plan was based on a contempt of court charge that they got a judge to file against me that was rejected by the United States Department of Justice. And ultimately, a Chevron law firm stepped into the shoes of the US government to prosecute me. I was prosecuted by an oil company. I was detained by an oil company, in the United States of America. And as part of that, Chevron convinced the judge to issue an order for me to pay them millions of dollars to reimburse them for their supposed legal fees that they used to go after me and have me detained. So basically, not only did they have me detained, they took all my money. They claimed I had to pay for the legal work needed to detain me. And on top of that, when they got the judge to charge me with criminal contempt of court, he imposed conditions of release. It's really not release because I was detained, where I had to wear an ankle bracelet 24/7. I slept with it. I ate with it. I showered with it. Had a battery on it, and I could never take it off. I didn't take it off for almost 3 years. And on top of that, he imposed an $800,000 bond on me. I had to come up with the $800,000, put it into the clerk of the court, to be able to go home where I was detained. Otherwise, I would have gone to jail. So, I owe Chevron millions of dollars, completely illegitimately. The bond that the judge imposed on me was the highest misdemeanor bond in US history. It was higher than the bond imposed on 3 of the 4 cops who killed George Floyd. And I'm a human rights lawyer. So this was a case of pure corporate retaliation against a man who worked with farmer and indigenous communities in Ecuador to hold that corporation accountable for one of the worst oil disasters done deliberately in world history. That's what happened.
You've told us of your home imprisonment. I never truly understood freedom until I was put in this situation. You've also told us it turned out to be one of the best times of your life. Everyone watching this will have survived the lockdowns of the early COVID-19 pandemic, and therefore have some sense of what you mean. But tell us, why do you remember it so fondly? And what did wearing the ankle bracelet teach you about freedom?
Well, first of all, to be clear, I did not enjoy being detained. I didn't want to be detained. And every day I was detained, I fought to get undetained. I literally, I'd make lists, I'd contact lawyers, I'd advocate for myself, I'd have my lawyer file legal motions, I'd come up with ideas, how can I get this ankle bracelet off? Until I realized I couldn't get it off. That it was not about the law. It was about a rigged court case designed to punish me for being a successful human rights lawyer. I couldn't get it off. I had every argument in my favor. No lawyer had ever had an ankle bracelet for this kind of charge. I was like, this is crazy. And they kept refusing to remove my ankle bracelet. So I realized what I was really up against. And it's really harrowing to be locked up for something you did wrong. It's terrifying to be locked up when you did nothing wrong. Because one thing that we were really committed to in my family was we were determined, like you cannot believe, to not let Chevron and Judge Kaplan take away our happiness. Like we were gonna fucking enjoy life, even if it was only in the four walls of this apartment, and even if it lasted forever. We were gonna enjoy life. And you know what we did? We developed all sorts of little techniques to keep ourselves happy, and the silver lining was we spent a ton of time together. Before my detention, I was traveling constantly. I was traveling all over Europe, Latin America, to the West Coast of the United States. I was moving around a lot, and I wasn't spending the time with my family that I was able to spend during my detention. And my detention, by the way, predated COVID and went past the end of the lockdown. So, I look at that period of time as just a feature of the evolution of my life. I don't want to call it a blessing because it was not good. But I do want to say there were blessings in it that really allowed us to grow and get better, get stronger, and understand what's really important. It was pretty amazing. It was funny, people like, oh, he's under house arrest. So people, I had known, not super close, would call me up. Hey, can I come visit you? Or, they felt bad for me. They thought I was basically sitting around with nothing to do, completely bored. And the reality was, it was the opposite. I was working my butt off every day, building solidarity, building support. And at the end of writing legal briefs, doing media interviews, posting on social media so people would know what was happening. And at the end of every day, like around 6, 7 o'clock, I would stop what I was doing, go take a shower, whether I needed it or not, get dressed with a different set of clothes. Even though I was like relaxed around the house all day, I would put on shoes as if I was going to go out, even though I couldn't. And at that point, my wife and I would go to the kitchen as if we were going out and make a dinner. We pretended like we were going out. And it's crazy, but like that, those kinds of things can make all the difference in the world. And we'd have fun. And by the way, this is another crazy thing. As I got more and more known that I was in this situation, more and more people wanted to come by. So we ended up, our social life, ironically, ended up improving by a factor of 10.
I want to switch gears just a little bit and bring it to a more personal place, into your memories, and open up with a quote from Wendell Berry, who writes, in A Native Hill, "As I go in under the trees, dependably, almost at once, and by nothing I do, things fall into place." Growing up in Jacksonville, did you ever feel that soothing type of connection to nature?
This might be hard for people to believe, but I'm sort of an accidental environmental lawyer. Like I didn't go into this case to help the environment. I went into this case because I wanted to fight for people who were hurting. And over the course of doing the case over many years, I learned a lot. You know, I learned stuff I never knew at the beginning. For example, about the deep connection between indigenous peoples to their like natural world, and something I'd never really understood growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, in like a suburban community where we drove everywhere. Like that was not an ethos, a cosmology, a philosophy that I was exposed to, and really nor was anyone where I grew up that I knew. So a lot of truths about the world are not given to us by design, because they can be very threatening to the power structure to really know what the truth about the world, the truth about the importance of the natural world, the truth about how indigenous peoples had had their land stolen from them, you know, all throughout the world, and particularly in the United States and Canada, you know, in Ecuador. And, you know, one thing I noticed when I started to hang out in the rainforest, because I've been there over 250 times, with these powerful, you know, community leaders, is that I had a lot to learn. And it took me a few years of working down in Ecuador to understand that I didn't know shit. Okay, I didn't know shit about what these people were about. And I can tell you, even though I went down there with the notion that I was going to help them and teach them about the law and teach them how to empower themselves through the law, as I look back on it now, I learned so much more from them than they ever learned from me.
Joe Berlinger, the director of the documentary Crude, offers the anecdote that upon arriving in the Amazon with you, he witnessed Kofan village elders eating canned tuna out of an industrial vat because, due to the pollution of then Texaco, now Chevron, all the fish in their local rivers had died. He admits that this image provided the emotional kick in the ass, so to speak, to make the film for him. The image of how defiled the community and their ancestral lands had become. Did you see and feel the same things when you first went down there?
Well, literally from the first day I went to this area, I noticed that the situation was terribly wrong. I mean, first of all, just looking around, you see massive pollution. And then when you start talking to the people, you realize that their lifestyles have been completely upended. I mean, these are communities that lived off the natural world. You know, they ate by catching fish in the river. They couldn't do that anymore. You know, instead, like Joe Berlinger pointed out in describing the film Crude, you know, people are eating canned tuna. Canned tuna, processed tuna. Instead of drinking water out of the rivers, they're either drinking contaminated water because they have no money, or they have to put their pennies together and go buy bottled water. You know, so the animals they hunt, you know, they catch animals and open them up to cook them, and they see oil in the intestines of these animals. You know, so something when I first went there, it was just clear this was really awry. Like, you know, and what I didn't really understand at the beginning is that these communities had been impacted over the course of maybe 10 years, and this was happening after they had lived in peace and prosperity in the rainforest for millennia.
In her profile of you in The Guardian, Erin Brockovich writes, "Imagine if instead of a movie telling my story, I'd gone to jail." I remember watching that movie in my middle school health class and wondering, even as a kid, why health, public, environmental, in American culture is viewed as a luxury, something up to the individual to protect through acts of sacrifice and heroism, with no sense of common civic or communal responsibility in sight. Do you remember a time when there was a widespread respect for science and value placed on public health in this country? Or have American values around health and the environment always been so nihilistic and we just never realized it?
So, you know, the question of how, you know, the state of health in the United States, is an interesting one. I mean, I would say, and I'm not a doctor, and it's not like something I've thought deeply about, but it's pretty damn obvious if you live here long enough to see that our healthcare system is broken. I mean, it really is broken. We have tens of millions of people who cannot afford to have health insurance, who cannot afford basic treatment. We have many others who can't get preventive health care. We, learned recently even more about how these ginormous, industrial size healthcare insurers repeatedly deny legitimate claims so they can increase their profits. It's wrong. I mean, we spend more money per capita on healthcare than any other industrialized country in the world with the worst outcomes. So how is this system allowed to persist? It's really extraordinary. But, it's an example, I hate to say it, what happened to me. Like, there's so much corporate power in this country. Healthcare industries is one large industry that has an enormous amount of power. They lobby, they control laws, they block single payer plans like every other industrialized country has, like Canada or the European countries. So, it's that kind of power that also enables the fossil fuel industry, the Chevrons of the world, to come in and convince a court that they should be allowed to criminally prosecute their critic, which is what happened to me. It all has its root in the increased corporate power of our society. And I can tell you, as someone who's been looking at this stuff for 40 years, that is a major shift in our society since I'd say the mid-70s to now, is courts are now lost. Our government is now either directly under the control of industry or heavily influenced by industry. I mean, the Republican Party is an extension of the oil and gas industry. The Democratic Party is not an extension, but it's heavily influenced by the oil and gas industry. And we really don't have a political system in this country anymore that is capable of dealing with our fundamental problems because of this almost complete corporate influence over our politics. The influence of money, Citizens United. There's so many things that have happened in the last quarter century, things that have happened since I got out of law school that have put us on a unfortunate trajectory that is leading to more and more problems rather than solutions.
So, to the point you just made, you brought the infamous Lago Agrio case against Chevron with a community of lawyers representing multiple communities of people. Chevron brought their RICO case against you and you alone. What have those contrasting experiences taught you about the role of the individual in the environmental movement? What have they taught you about power, and what have they taught you about the power of community?
Well, I would say that the kind of the ethos in American society that's like highly individualistic and acquisitive, like everyone's got to take care of themselves, is something that is one way of looking at it. But there are other parts of the world, other cultures where it's not that way at all, like where people actually are used to working collaboratively and used to working in service of something other than capital accumulation. So one thing I realized over the years working down in Ecuador is that the most effective way to do the case was as a team, as a collective effort, not as something that, this lawyer is the lead lawyer. I hate that phrase, he's the lead lawyer, okay? When you have a case where you're up against a lot of power and you're representing communities that don't have historically political power, you have to figure out structures that are going to be sustainable. And it's obvious that the only way you're going to get it done is to have teams of people, the melding of people with different skill sets into one, under good leadership to make it happen. And I'd say that was really lesson number one. The person who started this case that I've been working on now for over 30 years ended up getting discharged by the clients because he never took the time to travel to Ecuador on any kind of frequent basis to listen to the clients and to empower them so they can control their own lawsuit. And you see this time and again in the legal profession. I've seen this my whole career. Like lawyers think, it's my case. No, it's not your case. You're representing someone, it's their case. And I've never forgotten that fundamental lesson.
When was the last year of your life when you weren't actively involved in or fighting litigation? And who were you then?
So, the last year I was not involved in any litigation was the year before I became a lawyer. Because my first job at a law school was as a litigator. I was a public defender in Washington, D.C. And, I've always been a guy, like really since I was probably 10, 11, 12, who I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I was really not happy with all the injustice I saw in the world, even as a kid. I credit my mom a lot, Hester, who exposed me to like lots of civic stuff, protests in my hometown of Jacksonville, Florida. She opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I actually realized that kind of something got ignited in me when I was a kid by engaging in these activities, and I've been unable to turn it off. Like, it's what I do, and it sort of becomes who you are. So even when I went to law school and like had so much to learn, and I didn't really know a lot at the beginning, I do know that I wanted to use whatever legal skill I could develop in law school and through practicing law to help people. Because like I realized like 99% of the legal talent in this country, it protects wealth and power. And there's not enough people actually protecting those who are harmed by wealth and power. So it's really been an extraordinarily satisfying experience, is probably the best way to put it. Even though, as I sit here now, I don't have material wealth at all. I mean, I basically fundraise so I can live. Fundraise into a legal defense fund. Because Chevron took all my money.
There are a lot of organizations around the globe with members of all generations in activist capacities, volunteer capacities, trying to stave off the effects of climate change. Obviously, Laura and I are interviewing you for Extinction Rebellion, which is a global movement and supports all our fellow climate organizations. Not to get into tactics, not to get into what should we be doing, what shouldn't we be doing, simply, do you have anything to say to young people like us who have to inherit the reality that we did not create and pass it on to whatever will remain when we have to pass it on?
Well, I just want to say something about the climate movement, particularly the youth climate movement in this country and in the world. First of all, I would not be here without that movement, okay? People in that movement understood that what was happening to me was a warning shot across the bow to the entire movement, and people stepped up to protect me. So for whoever helped, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm talking about Extinction Rebellion and Climate Defiance and so many environmental groups. I can't name them all. Don't even know them all. This is like a new world to me. Other than to say it's powerful. Like, I'm an old dude. Like, the groups we had when I was young were like Greenpeace. Okay, good for Greenpeace, they're great. But like, what's going on now is a whole other order of magnitude that's so damn impressive. And I want to thank Extinction Rebellion and all the climate groups that have fucking care about the people of Ecuador and care about the rights of lawyers and campaigners to take on the fossil fuel industry without being thrown in jail, without being retaliated against, without being hit by a slap lawsuit. So I just want to say it's impressive. And I can tell you that the global youth climate movement is growing in strength, and it scares the shit out of the fossil fuel industry. You see evidence of this all over the place. And one of the clearest pieces of evidence is how much the industry now is trying to criminalize the climate movement because they can't handle it. So to young people, keep it up. It's effective. And I draw inspiration from the courage and the activism of the youth climate movement. It's really extraordinarily impressive.
If you had any one piece of advice for a young person who is just hearing of these things for the first time in their life and starting to think about what it means to live in a world that's being changed by the science like this, what would you tell them to do?
My most important piece of advice to young people: engage, 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 protest, lead, like find your role. Do not withdraw. Do not descend into cynicism. Cynicism is the worst place you can be. So as bad as it is, we see record-breaking increases in fossil fuel production right when the planet is burning. Like, it's demoralizing to see this. But trust me, it would be even worse if the global climate movement did not exist with the level of strength it has. So we need to keep building our power on ultimately creating the system we need so the planet can survive. And the other thing I'd say is connect up the climate movement with other issues, particularly in our political system. Like, we can't create the change we need if we don't have a democracy. And right now we don't have a democracy. We have like a kind of a distorted two-party system where there's an extremely limited choice between two pro-corporate parties, okay? We need to work to change that. We need a multi-party political system where the Green Party and the Labor Party and other parties with innovative ideas can be part of governing coalitions, or we are never going to move this forward. So fight, engage, lead on climate, connect it up to the political system as a whole, and make those improvements we need too so the climate movement can actually achieve its objectives.
Great. Thank you.